This week in gaming news, the console war continues between Xbox and PlayStation, and the clear winner is PC. Crystal Dynamics has forgot that Hawkeye is an Avenger, and the We Love Gaming crew has been grounded all weekend. All that and more on this week's episode of the We Love Gaming podcast. Let's get into it.
I love gaming.
All right, and welcome back to the We Love Gaming podcast. I'm Gali Sovereign, and I have Sir Knight with me and Mark Araya with me as well today. And we're going to talk about the Xbox versus the PlayStation 5 showcase today. So before we get started, how was you guys this week?
My week's been good, man. Still trying to truck through that Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, I know we're talking about that today, and I'm going to give my thoughts on that. There's been some parts of it that I've been a little bit annoyed. Some of the story segments, they can be a little bit long, but I've been enjoying that. And then when we jumped into ground, and that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
So my week's been pretty busy with games. What about yours, Mark?
My week's been pretty good. My wife asked me a very interesting question that I never really heard her ask before.
Okay.
She's like, I want to buy a game and it's on the Epic Store. And I said, what? You want to buy a game?
On the PC, huh?
So yeah, she bought a PC game, guys.
Nice.
Some of
Nice.
the Animal Crossing players that she watches on Twitch,
Uh-huh.
there's a new game called Ooblets that's kind of like Pokemon meets Animal Crossing, and she was watching them play it. She's like, oh, I want to play it too. So
Dude, that's
installed
cool,
it on
man.
her
I wish my
computer.
wife put out.
So I installed it on their computer, and I was like, wow, I would have never in a million years thought you would ask me such a thing.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Cool. That's 1 foot in, man. That's
Yeah.
all you need, right?
Man.
Yeah.
What about you, Godly?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do too much this week. I was playing some more Ghost of Tsushima, trying to work that
Yeah.
in, but I actually got sidetracked by Grounded. So
That's right. You really
like the moment-
you really dig that game, man.
Yeah, the moment that I started, that I was able to download it and then start playing it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just check it out, just get my feel for the game, because I saw I was watching a lot of gameplay, and I ended up getting sidetracked and whatnot.
Nice.
But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So first we wanted to talk about the things that we liked
Right.
between the Xbox showcase and the PlayStation 5 event.
Yeah,
So
now
let's
that-
start off with the PlayStation 5.
Now that we have both showcases, right?
Right.
We're like, which one did better? Right? So for me, one thing that I liked, we're gonna start with PlayStation, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about PlayStation was not just the volume of games, because they had a lot of games, right? And I love that. I want my showcase to be full of games. But for me, it was the quality of games, right? The games were such high quality, I couldn't wait for the next one to come up, every one of them were exciting. I couldn't wait to see what next game they were going to show me, where sometimes I think Xbox gets lost in the minutia of gamers just want games. They just want games. No, we don't just want games. We want quality games, and you can go through the list, right? Like Horizon, Spider-Man, some of these incredible looking games that we're all so super excited for. I just couldn't get enough of that. So for me, that's what PlayStation did best. What about you, Mark?
So for me, I think one of the things PlayStation did best was when I was trying to envision what PlayStation was going to showcase, we were a little more in mystery, because we didn't know what the PlayStation looked like. We didn't know the catalog of games. We didn't know much about the controller. There are just so many things as gamers we wanted to know. So that was one thing for me.
The suspense.
I really liked the reveal. This was like a
Right.
reveal. We saw so many things that we had never seen before.
But it really only worked, right, because it was awesome looking, right?
I would just say, since we didn't know, I'm not going to comment on the look,
Okay.
because I'm really neutral on the look
Okay.
of either of them.
All right.
But I would say one was a really good reveal of what's coming forward.
Okay.
Second is
Good point.
the exclusive games were really good. There were a lot of games that, to me, were surprised. I never got to play the first Demon Souls, so that for me was huge. There's a couple other good exclusives as well. Of course, we got the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hyped games, so I would say they did best showcasing the new, revealing their mystery,
Mm-hmm.
and they did, better in the game section, the
Right.
game department, as far as exclusives, showing things that have never been shown before. What about you, Godly Sovereign?
Yeah, I pretty much liked how they just came out of the gate trying to shock and awe you. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, it was like, the way the presentation started, and they're kind of giving you like these little tidbits here and there of like what the UI is going to look like, and different things about the PlayStation, showing you like a quick glimpse of the controller, you know what I mean? But all meanwhile showing you these awesome games. And I just felt like they were trying to come for, Microsoft's neck, you know what I mean? Like, you guys dropped the system, but you ain't doing it like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little throw punch or something like
Yeah,
that,
for sure, man. They threw some punches, right?
Yeah,
They
I mean,
slugged.
It was just too many really good
Yes.
looking quality
Yes.
first party titles.
Yeah.
And it was just so many games that they released. It was like 60 games or so that they showed you,
Wow.
just on that. It's almost
Wow.
like they dumped the whole bag on the table,
Right.
with everything. So it's like, oh, what else left do you have to show me? And then, you hear that like
Another
right
one,
after
right?
the Xbox Game Cap, there's another event that's
Yeah.
coming. So what are you gonna talk? Is this just like strictly price only or what? So I just loved how Sony just came
Totally,
out of the
bro.
gate swinging. As soon as the bell ding, bing, they just start punching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
I
exactly.
that.
As soon as
yeah.
adult, dude, they were slugging, man. They went hard too, right? They didn't hold any punches back.
Yeah.
They weren't holding stuff back. Where sometimes it feels like Microsoft holds back,
Yeah.
right? They're holding back surprises.
Yeah, but
Where Sony just.
yeah,
Yeah.
but speaking of those sneaky bastards, Microsoft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what did you like?
Yeah,
so,
so I love Game Pass, right? Like for me, Game Pass is so incredible. It's so awesome. It almost in and of itself can almost single-handedly destroy like another company. Like it's that nuts to me. So for me, the Game Pass hands down was what I like best about Microsoft's. When he told us, right, that every game is available on Game Pass, you can watch it. That's really incredible. But I do have some reservations about it. One of my reservations are in relation to like Movie Pass. Like this is reminding me of Movie Pass. Remember when that came out? You're like, oh my gosh, unlimited movies for $10 a
it's
month.
an awesome deal.
It was an awesome deal, like a high value. And remember we were talking. I told you guys, I'm just waiting for when they're going to raise the price on this. There's no way there's no way that they can sustain this business model, or it's going to go under. And sure enough, it went under, and they don't exist anymore. That's my worry for Game Pass, is that sometimes these too good to be true kind of services are too good to be true, and they end up going away. So that's my only reservation, is I don't want to see the Movie Pass treatment happen to Game Pass. But clearly that's my favorite thing of the Xbox showcase was that. What do you think, Mark?
So my favorite thing was it opened with Halo Infinite, and I think arguably that was the best game they showed. An open world Halo, it's a good direction to go. So that some of their games were pretty good. So I was hyped for that. I was really excited to hear about when they were talking about Destiny, that it's going to be on the xCloud for the phone. So I was excited to hear that they're continuing to develop that infrastructure and that service, because I think that's part of next gen. In my opinion, I'm looping in their xCloud on your phone to be a next gen feature, because you can't do that on this current gen. So I would say I'm excited for xCloud. I'm excited for the Game Pass. I would like to see a little more gameplay, but it is what it is. But
Right.
Halo Infinite, I'm hyped for that. And I'm hyped to try Fable out. Not as much as Godly Sovereign, of course. But
we know it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was excited about. What about you, Godly Sovereign?
Yeah, so I mean, Xbox was pretty quiet with all of their stuff. They did jump out the gate first by releasing what their console looked like, information about their console. I felt like they kind of forced Sony's hand to show it when they did. I kind of feel like they were pretty how can you say, like they were pretty sure of themselves when they released this console. You know what I mean? Like,
They're
they had
gonna
no
win this
doubts
time
about
around,
it.
right?
Yeah, they were like, we have no doubts about this.
Yeah.
Let's just go and give it to them. You know, let's show it to them. You know, to check out the showcase, it was really different from the PlayStation 5. You know, I felt like it was all about trying to showcase that their product that they're selling has a lot with it. Like, it's
Right.
interesting to
Yeah,
get it.
that's
You know what I
true.
mean? So, like, I feel like their
That's really
product,
true.
I feel like their product wasn't the Xbox. I feel like that's
Right.
not
It's
the
service.
selling thing anymore. Yeah.
more
It's
of a
the Game
service.
Pass,
Yeah,
right?
It's a service, gaming as a service, right?
Right, it's
Yeah.
everything included with the Game Pass. So, you know, you're talking
Totally.
about throwing out the live, possibly. You know, that's, you know,
Mhm.
assumptions that people have made and whatnot. But you're talking about having the Game Pass with all these games available to
Right.
try out and play, regardless. And then also adding xCloud with that. So making your thing as mobile as possible. I mean, you know, PlayStation has like a remote feature, but it's pretty choppy. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that great. I can still be in the same house, in a different room, on the same Wi-Fi, and I'm not getting crystal clear, you know, production. You know, so that's something that PlayStation themselves have to work on. But if this xCloud is as great as they are
Right.
portraying it to be, and they want it to be,
It's another game
then
changer, right?
yeah, we're talking about, you know, possibly eliminating handhelds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they're going-
Nintendo would have
right.
something to worry about at this point.
They
if
have a
that's the
very
case.
like long-term vision,
Right.
where Sony's is very immediate,
Right.
right? Where Microsoft's looking super down the road, right? Yeah.
And it's like
I agree.
it's I hear what you're saying about the Movie Pass
Yeah.
issue,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel at the same time, because Microsoft has so much money everywhere else, that they can reallocate funds to go to this just to bring people in. Like, I feel like the $15 that it is now, it may be more in the future or whatnot, but even if they kept it at $15, right? Not everybody is playing the Game Pass or utilizing the Game Pass at every moment. So I feel like, you know, you spend a couple million on a game, you're gonna get that back, especially if you've got, you know, possibly like 1 million people subscribed. You know what I mean? I don't even remember what their numbers
I think it was
were.
like 10 mil?
It's 12 or something. Yeah, I think it's 12. Like,
Yeah,
it's pretty
so-
high.
I mean, you're just like 12 million people paying $15 because
Yeah,
that would
you
be
can
the
make
benefit.
You can make
like,
a lot of games with that much
Yeah.
money, right?
Yeah. Like, at that point, and then you're opening the bag up more to, like, you know, fill it up, you know, because you're saying like, oh, you don't even have to buy the Xbox if you don't want to. You got that powerful PC for all you know, you PC enthusiasts, go there. Like,
Yeah, it's they're transforming to more of a service than a console, right?
Yeah.
Like your point, like, yeah, go play on PC, go play on your old Xbox One X, right? Everything's available everywhere,
Yep.
no matter where you want to play. It's a completely different direction
right.
than the traditional console route,
Yeah.
right? And so, yeah, I agree. They're taking some risks with that, though, like my whole Movie Pass risk, but because they're gonna have to invest a lot, like, into this xCloud, into these services. They're gonna, like, pull from other, like you said, parts of Microsoft's cash cow, you know, to help prop this up. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite rappers said, it ain't tricking if you got it. So, you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
they've got it, and I
Yeah,
think they're
they've
willing
got
to
it. Yeah,
give
you're
it all
right,
to
you're
those
right.
others.
And they've got endless, you know,
Yeah.
pockets,
Yeah.
right? Their pockets are endless.
Microsoft Windows, like
Yeah.
every PC is pretty much, you know, Microsoft based. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Everyone has Windows, right?
Yeah, it's-
Everyone
you
uses
got
Office.
it.
Everyone uses
Outlook.
Office. Yeah.
The
like,
literal
you
only
can't
competition
escape
is
Microsoft.
Mac. You know, it's
Yeah.
Apple. That's the only competition that it has. You will have Windows on your computer. I mean,
And
maybe
Mac is
Linux, but
Like,
you
what
know.
does it mark? Like 12, 13% of market share. Mac is not even that much. It's all
Minute.
Windows.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
all
Windows. So
Windows.
yeah, they
Yeah.
got money to throw.
Yeah, so
But-
you know, talking about what we like the most, let's talk about what we didn't like.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
start off with the PlayStation. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, right.
What I don't like about PlayStation is kind of like what we've been talking about so far, is their lack of desire to want to compete with Xbox in this digital service, you know, gaming as a service realm. They don't even like address it. They don't have any kind of like, they don't bring up any counter or any other option in their showcase. Hey, you can game too digitally. Like they don't bring any of that up. Like they almost treat it as though it doesn't exist. And I think this is one reason why, like, I wish Xbox would market this more and pound this more, because if they're not going to do that, then Sony can play that game. They can pretend like it doesn't exist if no one's talking about it. And not enough people are talking about this gaming as a service, on the Microsoft, ecosystem, that I wish Sony would do something comparable. I'm sorry. PlayStation Plus sucks compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it absolutely sucks. Like, I'm never excited to see the games that they release. Now that we're speculating multiplayer is going free on Xbox, I'm like, Sony, you got to compete with this. I'm getting really discouraged. I'm not happy with Sony in this regard. And so for me, that's where they failed in this showcase, is not addressing gaming as a service like Xbox is. Go toe-to-toe with them. Give us at least something, right?
Right.
I don't care if it even cost more. Right, if it's going to cost me $20 a month, but it's something similar, like do something, and then there isn't anything.
So what I didn't like was, first, I wanted to see some price. I'm going to say this about the Xbox too, but I wanted to see how much the darn thing is going to cost. I wanted them to kind of paint that picture for us now to see what we're going to expect. Another thing I didn't like was that I feel like some of the games, they threw a lot of games. They had over 60 games that they showed us, but I think they were a little sneaky and not telling us all these are exclusives, because a lot of these games are on everything else. So that 60 is a little more bloated compared to Microsoft's, 21 games. Like, those 21 games are for Microsoft. I would have liked to see what's exclusive to you guys, because like things like Haven, we're hyped about. We tried it out.
But that was on Microsoft, right?
We tried it out on Microsoft.
Yeah.
Sony hyped us for it, and Microsoft showed us, try it out, guys.
I agree.
So
that Game Fest they gave us.
Yeah. So I'm kind of disappointed in that. I wish they would just showed us the exclusives, get straight to what we can expect. I want to know how much things are, and I feel like last console wars, Sony did a really good job of countering Microsoft, like with the whole game sharing. They're like, this is how you share games, and they pass one game to somebody else. Now, PlayStation just silent, like you were saying.
Yeah.
They are like, okay, we designed this futuristic, sleek-looking machine. Let's hope that's enough. We have these exclusive titles. Let's hope that's enough. But as a service, with all these speculations that, online's going to be free, like, how it was during the PlayStation 3 days, could you have told us some of that, PlayStation?
Yeah.
Like, hey, gaming's, like, I just feel like there's a lot of questions in my head now. So
they aren't, they're sticking with the old dog. They're not teaching the dog new tricks, right?
Yeah.
They refuse. They want to stick with the old, way of life, the old system of things. That's how they won the last console war, right? Was sticking with traditional games, exclusives. That's not working this time around.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I don't believe it shouldn't. Even if it does, it shouldn't. I don't like that. Like you said, it's a futuristic console that has no futuristic services.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think they missed the mark at that. So what do you think, Godly Server?
As far as like the PlayStation event, you're right, Mark, right? I feel like if they had come out the gate with the price, that just would have been like a smack, like an Xbox face, like, hey, this is what we on right now. So I feel like if they had done that, it would have meant that they meant business. It would have shown that. But I feel like because they didn't show the price, they're still playing this waiting game, like who's gonna pop the price. Yeah,
they're
first.
playing chicken with each other.
Right. So unfortunately, doing it like that sucks. But it is what it is. For everything else, I felt like they had like good variety and stuff like that. But yeah, I wish that they would have possibly announced some type of competition against that Game Pass.
Right.
The Game Pass has already been out. It's already been, it's been well known. But I feel like for them to still have this PS Now service, along with their PS Plus,
Garbage,
like
dude.
as two separate entities,
Yeah.
and not have combined them to one, because like, I mean, I don't even know who's using the TV service for PlayStation.
Right.
Like, I know none of my friends are using the TV
PS Vue,
service. Yeah,
right?
yeah, that
Yeah.
one. And I don't even know if it's still going
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like done now, right? Yeah.
But I just feel like as weak as the PS Now is, like, why wouldn't you just throw it in with the PS Plus? Like, it should just be there for people who decided to pay extra
Right.
to do that. You know what I mean? But, you know, maybe with everything that developed from, you know, Xbox, maybe they've got that in the tuck. You know, maybe that's what the event's about. You know, hey, we've, you know, increased the power of the PS Now, and we're adding, you know, new titles in it. I mean, even if they did indie titles, that'd be something,
You
right?
can't even get like PS5, PS4 titles. It's like almost like
Yeah.
a lot of them like old.
They're
PS3
all PS3,
games.
Yeah.
PS2 stuff,
And like you
and they
said-
don't even play good like
And that's
that.
a great point. Like you can't even get good indies. You can give us some good indies. The Xbox Game Pass is not just giving us like their first party exclusives. They're giving us indie exclusives, and I love the indies, and they're all fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the new trick now, the way to get people is to buy out all these other third party studios. Like there's some studios that are getting purchased, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even think that was for sale. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, you're hearing little inklings of like Warner Brothers, their gaming studio, being put up for auction. You
Yeah.
know, from these two, and you know, things like that are big moves if they can obtain the IPs that are attached to it.
And that's what's happening. They got
You
one
know.
up IPs.
Yeah, so I mean,
Right.
the more IPs you get, right, the more exclusivity you have for people to want to join your service, and I think that's probably if PlayStation does not change their situation at all, and they don't like, oh, we're not even competing against Game Pass, we're better than that. You know what I mean? If they're high and mighty, I think that their MO would be to then start poaching every single IP that's out there, every single like you know, random gaming studio, to just take it, you know, so that way they're able to have all these exclusive titles that are on here, and you know, and then Microsoft is like, oh, okay, well, we gotta get these other ones in,
Yeah.
or something like that. So I think that's gonna be PlayStation's game plan. But you know, moving on from PlayStation, right? What didn't you like about the Xbox Game Showcase?
Yeah, I think I was just disappointed with the quality of the games that they showed. They finally got it through their head that we want games, and we want a lot of games, and they showed us a lot of games, and so I was hyped for that. But I felt like a lot of them were low quality, and I think that's partly because they just weren't showing gameplay, so we just don't know. And so I don't know, does that mean they're afraid of the quality of these games? Like, why are they not willing to show us something about what these games are? They felt all very low, mid-tier to me, like in just the quality. Apart from a couple, like of course Halo looked beautiful, right? But and Fable, I can't wait. I don't even need to see gameplay for that. But for the most part, they were very, for me, just low tier, and so I just wasn't excited as I was watching. What about you, Mark?
So for me, like I said, for the PlayStation, same treatment here. I wanted to see price. I really thought this showcase was they were gonna pull some more, like, you know, tricks out of their sleeve. I thought maybe their you know, the Xbox Series S, the, you know, codename Lockhart. I thought maybe they're gonna show that. I thought that there's gonna be a little more mystery here. There wasn't anything we didn't see before here.
Yeah.
They kind of just reinforced the point of Game Pass, which is good. But there wasn't anything that blew my mind. There wasn't anything other than Fable. But we kind of heard, you know, we talked about
Rumblings.
This yeah. So there was nothing that came out of nowhere for this. You know.
Yeah.
They didn't really show any accessories, anything new. So
I was hoping for Lockhart, man.
yeah.
You mentioning that, I was really thinking they would show
I thought
it.
I thought that's what they're gonna showcase here.
Ugh.
And I think for me that would have been undeniable. That would have made this winner more apparent.
That would have been the knockout, right? $200 Xbox Lockhart. That's the knockout.
That would have been the nail in the
dude.
coffin.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're both playing it so strategic. They're waiting for one to announce. I feel like Lockhart. I feel like all the prices for the consoles are still up to debate. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just which sucks because I would like for them to just calculate, all right, how much of a loss do we need to take? How much profit do we need to get? But no, they're trying to milk it. They're trying to milk it out for as much as they can, and it sucks, you know.
They want to undercut each other.
So it is what it is with that regards. But like I said, the main disappointment was they didn't really show anything that we never seen before.
Right.
Everything we saw, you could have just went on Google and looked up leaks and speculations.
True.
So, what about you, Godly-san?
Yeah, so, you know, besides the fact that every game that they showed literally had no gameplay except for Halo Infinite. So it was just a whole bunch of trailers.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in Halo Infinite. I thought that there could have been more crisper detail.
Mm-hmm.
It should have looked more real. I felt like it looked real when they showcased the suit getting kind of like, you know the
Built.
pan to it, and it getting put together and whatnot. That looks superb.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that was just video. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's like watching, a PlayStation 3 Final Fantasy game. You know what I mean? Like, it looks great. Like the scenes and stuff, the cutscenes, great. But the actual gameplay is where it matters, right? Because that's what we're gonna be watching. Is that. And I felt like even with some of the cutscenes that were closer to the gameplay, like when Master Chief finally gets off of the ship and everything, like I felt like those are trash. I felt like that guy did not look anywhere near real. He looked like a drawing of some sort, or like a cartoon character. Yeah. So
I agree.
With that, I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, damn, you guys open the gate with this. You guys open the door with this. And you guys are supposed to have this 12 teraflops and stuff. Like, I don't see nothing there.
Yeah.
But it is
that's
what it
hurting
is.
them bad right now, from what I understand.
There's a lot of people
sales
disappointed
are
in
very
that.
low. Like, there was some company that did a survey of all gamers. Yeah, supposedly 50% of all gamers are planning on getting a next gen console, but only 15% are planning on getting an Xbox Series X. 85% are trying to get a PlayStation. And from what I understand, the main reason why they said that was because of how disappointed they were in Halo Infinite and the way it looked.
Yeah,
I wasn't so much like that because I was excited for open world. Like, I'm more Mark. I'm like, I like open world games, so I give them a pass. Like, this is what I'm waiting for, an open world. Like, that's what I'm excited for. But everyone was disappointed in how it looked.
Yeah, I did. I think I don't know if it was you I was talking to, or maybe it was somebody else, or I was listening to something. But they were explaining how when you have games that are more like little worlds or little realms, you can pay more attention to the detail because you can invest more of like the CPU to show all that graphical output, in the zones or whatever. But when you get to an open world where everything has to pretty much be generated and running, you know what I mean? It makes it a little bit harder for the graphics to show out because you're trying to get so much, you know what I mean?
Which is what I was mentioning in our last podcast, which is why I thought the fidelity wasn't where it's at, because it's an open world. You just can't be as intensive.
Right. So I do understand that concept, but it's just like, damn, totally. I thought we was there.
It was a letdown.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I thought we were there where we could see, those crisp, small room graphics in an open world, and then and it'd be like that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's on Game Pass, so you can try it out.
Huge.
If it's so trash, you're just gonna delete it off your console and keep moving.
Yeah, you can't really complain when it's on Game Pass. It's hard, right? Yeah.
Right, and I think that was one of the things that they probably banked on, which I didn't like, because it's like, oh, it's on Game Pass though. You know what I mean? Like, you saw Halo Infinite, but it's on Game Pass. So it's kind of like, it's like, damn, dude, you kind of use that as like a cop out. Like, you're like, oh yeah, it's a new game, so you're just gonna try it, right? Maybe you'll waste like 5 or 6 hours on it, but it's on Game Pass, so you didn't have to pay $1 for it. You just buy a subscription, which is what they wanted anyways. They wanted you to buy the subscription. And I felt like that's probably what I didn't like the most about the Gamecast, is that the showcase is that all the games just look like, I'll play them if they're on the Game Pass.
Just mid-tier, low-tier quality games,
just a bunch of mid. It was nothing that shock and awed me except for Fable. that was literally it, and that's just because I love that title.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Nothing.
what the graphical output or the gameplay or anything in it. I'm still sold, but it's that's not enough for other people. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not everybody, such as yourself, have that much love for Fable, for a
Right.
Fable title. Also, side note, I've been hearing a lot of rumors that it's an MMO and it's not just a single player game.
That'd be
I hope not.
So-
I would be excited about
I
that.
would
I
like
think it
that.
would die. I think it'd be trash.
Really?
I feel like people
Oh,
can't
dude,
make
I want
MMOs
to play
no
with
more.
my friends.
I don't know.
man.
I think it would be on the same tiers like Destiny or something like that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where you have like different
Hubs.
server pockets
Yeah.
or something that you're going in
That's
with
not
to play.
an MMO though, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's a console MMO.
yeah, it's MMO-ish. You
It's
know
as
what I mean?
massive as a console game. Yeah, it's not World
Yeah.
of Warcraft, right? Yeah.
I mean, but even World of Warcraft had a limit on
No.
people in the server, right?
well, yeah, but it's like thousands.
Yeah,
You
so,
can still join it even if it's like full.
Mhm.
You just gotta wait in a queue to get in. But yeah, but
Right,
it's
yeah,
huge
so-
numbers.
I mean, so even if it was like Destiny tier with like being in the main hub area or whatever, that would be cool
That'd
because
be
you
cool.
had quite a few people in the tower.
Yeah, like
You know
maybe
what I mean?
50. Yeah.
So to
That'd be
just the idea of it, anyways, right? Of like running into another character and seeing how they look, how they progressed on the good evil meter or whatever,
Mhm.
seeing if they were able to pull like an ancient weapon from somewhere, and it's like, oh, where'd you get it? I've always had this dream of like a game that had like this vast world that just had so many rarities that there was only one.
Oh,
So there was
wow.
no way to actually get that weapon,
Mhm.
unless you killed that person.
Right.
And so it was just like, it's constant death fights, or battles that, can be like, oh, I'm gonna ante up my epic bow that, that no
Mhm.
one has, it's
Dristan.
only one piece of gear. Yeah. My Yara
My
bow.
Jaro, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
things like that.
But Microsoft's answer to everything is give it to them free. Like Mark was telling us
Throw it
earlier
on the
today,
Game Pass.
the multiplayer is free now on Halo, right? Like,
Yeah, so that's what they're speculating that. I feel like Microsoft now, they're designing games to be on Game Pass. So that's going to be a new trend we're going to see.
And that's pretty interesting that they would throw the multiplayer for one of their, high titles, like Halo. They just throw the multiplayer out there for free.
They're trying
It's
to
separate
throw a
entity.
bucket on the fire, right? Like there's lots of hatred over the way the game looks. Oh, okay, but here you can have the multiplayer for free.
My only question is are they going to put enough energy into the multiplayer?
I know when it's free.
Yeah. I mean, you
I
got
think
you
so.
got
Where are
games
you
like
on that, Mark?
you got games like Fortnite and stuff like that put a lot of energy into their multiplayer.
I think it's going to be a high quality multiplayer like every other Halo game, because to me that's like the definition of the Halo. The story's good, single player is good,
Everyone wants
but
multiplayer.
the multiplayer
Yeah.
is where it's at. So I don't think that they would skimp out on the main attraction to the game. I think if they showed people that Halo Infinite showed us the multiplayer, it would hype more people up than the single player. Because not many, it's like a Call of
Yeah.
Duty game. No one plays the campaign. I tried it out actually, but that's not
I
the
played it.
that's not the attraction to these kind of games.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
but I just feel like they have they have tricks up their sleeve, with all the new games that they're designing.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see.
Yeah. So, wrapping it up, let's talk about, who we felt won and possibly why. So we'll start off with you, Markariah.
I would say this gen, it's not as apparent as last gen. Last gen, the Xbox dropped the ball. Everyone knew it. No one was hyped for it. A lot of people talk crap about it. This gen, oh man, I feel like it just depends on what you want. So if you just care about exclusives and you don't play a vast array of games, then the PlayStation 5 is going to be the console for you. But I feel like if you're a gamer, you want to play a variety of games. You want games to be accessible on your PC, your phone. If you want that flexibility, then to me, the showcase, complemented that Xbox is for you. But it's tough to pick a winner. So for me, the winner is, because my style is a little more, I like games on the PC. I want to play games on my phone in bed. To me, the showcase is complementing that on the Xbox side. So to me, that's the winner.
Okay.
What about you, Sir Knight?
If I'm just comparing the showcases,
Right.
Showcase to showcase, I had a lot more fun watching the PlayStation showcase. Like, I just enjoyed it. Moment to moment, I was having a blast. I couldn't wait for the next game. It was super exciting. Every game was hype to me. Like, I just felt hype. Like, every game felt hype. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them felt hype.
Not Volcano High, right?
Not Volcano High, right? And that's, what was the cat one? Stray?
Stray.
Not Stray.
Yeah.
Like, some of them weren't hype to me, but a lot of them were. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this. What's the next one they're going to show me? So the showcase themselves, I thought Sony's was just much better. So if we're just comparing who won the showcases, Sony. If we're comparing which console I'm more excited for, well, it gets a little more muddy, right? Because it's like Mark says, I don't think there's a clear winner. I still think the edge is slightly to Sony right now because their games are so stinking good. But it's not a slugfest like it was last time around. Like, Microsoft is throwing some punches. And I think they're realizing from the last cycle console, they cannot win when it comes to games. They're admitting defeat there. Mm-hmm. They're saying Sony makes better exclusives. We can't compete in that realm. And I think we were hoping that we saw them gobbling up studios, like you were saying. Okay, let's see what they can have here. Like, are they going to try to go, toe to toe, slug to slug with PlayStation on exclusives? And we're seeing they can't, and they'll never be that. Which is why I commend them for pivoting, and they've pivoted so well into listening to Mark too. His explanation for why he right now is leaning Xbox. They should rebrand it to just Microsoft.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is Microsoft. This is not really Xbox anymore. They're pivoting. This is a Microsoft ecosystem of gaming, and you can play it on all these different platforms in all these different ways, and that's exciting to me. And so because of that, I'm more excited, I think, for what Xbox is doing than what PlayStation is doing. Do I think they're winning right now? I don't know if I can say that. I think PlayStation has a slight edge, but I'm more excited for Xbox. I ultimately am. Going into this new generation, I'm more excited. I want to get an Xbox One X for all those Game Pass games. I can't wait to play Destiny with you all for free, basically, right? I can't wait.
You want to get a Series X, right?
I want to get a Series X,
okay.
Yeah. Like, I want a game at a high fidelity for a long time, and all these games. Like, I love the way the Xbox One X runs versus my PS Pro.
Silent.
It's silent and it's snappier. My Pro, if I have a gamer, like when Ghost of Tsushima's running in the background and I go home and I want to go to the store or something like that, it's sluggish.
A little bit of lag.
It's laggy and sluggish. It gets the job done. But my Xbox is snappy. It goes home. I can swap games. I like that. And so I'm excited for it. I'm more excited for Xbox, even though I do think Sony's slightly winning right now as far as like the showcases and the console war, but I'm more excited for Xbox.
Yeah, and going back to my comments, the hype wasn't a factor at who won the showcase for me, because let's face it, all these tidbits we get from the showcase, we go and look them up, we go and look into them more. So for me, sure, the PlayStation, it was a little more hype, but when you started to dig deeper and you're like, dang, half of these games are not exclusives at all. Half of these games are coming out on other places, first or simultaneous. So I feel like they try to hype to me, but when you looked a little closer, let me rephrase. Their presentation was fantastic on the PlayStation 5 showcase. Their presentation was better than the Xbox. So I'll give them that. But when you dug a little deeper, it wasn't what you were expecting. So Microsoft,
or what you were sold.
It wasn't what you sold.
Right.
What you saw on Microsoft, what you saw on the Xbox showcase, is Xbox. Every game is Xbox exclusive in some way other than Destiny.
Right.
But everything was the definition of Xbox. What we saw on PlayStation, everything wasn't PlayStation.
Right.
So that was my only problem with that.
I think that's why, like, it depends on how you define it, right? Like, if you just if you're sitting there and you're watching the showcase for the first time and you're seeing, okay, here's two showcases, I think the Sony showcase was just fun, just more fun.
The presentation was better.
The presentation, it was just a better showcase.
Like I said, with mystery,
but
it was actually they pulled It was something
Yeah.
like new that we never seen.
Pulled. Yeah, they opened the curtain, right?
Yeah.
You know, the wizard behind the you know, the
veil.
curtain, the veil
Yeah.
was beautiful too. Like it was wonderful. Like it was just much better. But yeah, when you dig deeper and you start to really ask these questions, it gets a lot muddier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, if I try to go off of strictly what I saw at the game showcases, and not over speculation of what hasn't been announced yet, because there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been announced yet that we're thinking about,
Right.
you know, that we're trying to put into the equation for everything. I would say that I still feel that PlayStation won,
Right.
just because from the games that they showed, it's like a clear winner for me. You know, the games that they showed, I was all interested in. I wanted to see and play every one of them, regardless of, you know, how they're obtained or whatever. You know what I mean? They had like a good roster of games. The indie games I was actually, you know, really interested in. You know,
Right.
the games that were like the shockers, like the Ember Lab, Kena.
Kena
That one was
incredible
like
looking, dude.
really great. You know, besides the Spider-Man, and you know, some of the other ones that were announced. I just felt like, you know, even what was the other one, The Devil Within or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, there was a lot of like cool little indie games that I could throw into the pile as like, you know, these might be some ones that I would really enjoy playing. So just because of the quality of games,
Right.
and you know what was available or what will be available. I mean, obviously, I don't think I can't declare like a complete winner, you know, until I find out what's actually getting released
But
the
PlayStation's
day
ahead
of.
right now.
But
in the race,
PlayStation
yeah.
has the better advantage
Right.
in my eyes,
Okay, same.
just because of what they've shown us.
Right.
I definitely think that they're still cupping some things. They have a lot more to show us, and I think we'll see very soon exactly what they have to show us. So I'm just excited and waiting for that. You know, I kind of want to see who's gonna pull the trigger first and let us know a price. With Xbox, I don't see them giving us the price first, and I think that's because
They want to beat Sony.
they want to go lower than Sony. I think that's their idea. If they're going to have the Lockhart, if the Lockhart isn't just this fabled, you know,
Unicorn.
thing that has been, you know, brought up by somebody.
Yeah.
You know, if this is real, I feel like they want that to be the undercutter. You know,
Right.
they want that mid one, or the one that they've shown us. They want that to be the main one, but then they want to slide that other one in to kind of just, you know, shank them a little bit, you know. So I feel like until somebody's ready to pull that trigger, I don't know. And I think it's gonna be a while. I think they're gonna try to wait until like the latest possible time, which is like when they open up for pre-orders and stuff.
Yeah.
Because just for the simple fact that it probably didn't cost them that much to make these systems, so they're trying to see like how much they can actually get for it. Like, you know what I mean? It was rumored for the Lockhart to be like $200, but it probably didn't cost them that. It probably cost them like well under. You know what I mean? So they put a lot less in it than they did for the main one that they showed us already. So, you know, the 12 teraflops and this and that, all that stuff is all great, but the Lockhart ain't got that in it.
No.
It's got a lot less in it. It's got
No.
like, they're talking about like 4 teraflops and some other stuff. You know, it's only going to be able to give you like, you know, HD, you know what I mean? And probably like some HDR in there.
And
Maybe not even 4K.
I think that's the problem too with even why Halo looks bad, is because they have to make sure it plays across their whole ecosystem.
Yeah, which sucks.
And if their Lockhart is lame when it comes to graphical fidelity, then they have to make sure that it can play it, right? And so all you end up getting on the Xbox Series X is just higher frame rate and higher resolution, right? The graphics can't be better because the other systems can't handle it, and they want this ecosystem, right? So it's kind of, there's something biting them in the butt again, you know, like with the
I think the
games last
graphics
time.
are going to be really good on the Lockhart because it's using the same CPU. So
Yeah.
So the bottleneck on the current gen consoles is the CPU is so old. So now you got this budget machine with a brand new 8-core CPU that's better than the PlayStation CPU, just slightly clocked better. So I'd say you have a lot of potential.
For games,
for
even on
good
even on
games.
the
Not on
Lockhart.
4K, not
Yeah.
on 4K gaming. But let's face it, majority of people are still doing 1080p gaming.
They got regular TVs, yeah.
So for a regular consumer, they're gonna see gains over an Xbox. The current Xbox One X, they're gonna see gains over it. But for somebody, for some of the more enthusiasts, it's not gonna work.
Right.
But I mean, you wouldn't consider buying that anyways.
Right.
You would consider you buying like, a second console for a relative or a child or something like that. That's what you'd consider buying. Multiples of those. But
Right.
I think it's just for them to cast their net wider.
For sure, and it's smart. But yeah, they do bottleneck themselves with that Lockhart a little bit. There's a little bit of a bottleneck there. Not with their CPU, but because it's lower graphical GPUs and stuff, they're going to bottleneck themselves a tad because of that. And so their vision of this ecosystem is hurting that graphical ceiling a little bit, kind of like what they were trying to do last time around with making everything go digital. That's a great idea, but the way they delivered it was poor. And so there's these little things these little bottlenecks they put these little bottlenecks on themselves, and sometimes they can have a negative impact on their ecosystem.
One thing too, I feel like if Lockhart comes out, it's only like a viable thing at launch because it's gonna play all Game Pass games good. It's gonna play 360 games and Xbox One games fantastic,
Right?
Better than what we see on the Xbox One X. But down the road, 2-3 years, I think it's gonna age
bottleneck.
quickly.
Yes.
So I would
That's
say
my worry.
they need to be strategic. Release the price. I think they're trying to. That's gonna be their foot in the door for everybody, but it's not gonna be something that you're gonna keep the whole gen. It's gonna be something that you're introduced to the gen with,
Right?
and then it'll probably age pretty quick.
All right, so moving on, right, from the Xbox versus PS5 showcase, let's kind of talk about Ghost of Tsushima, right? So, I guess I'll lead into it first.
Sure.
I played it. I have not beat it yet, so I'm still working on it. I'm trying to enjoy every aspect of the game, so I'm not just trying to kill through the storyline. So I've definitely been playing a lot of the side quests. Trying to find a lot of the fox dens.
Yeah.
The different things like that, kind of enjoy the world, and kind of get that Ghost of Tsushima title well before I even go through the game like that.
Yeah.
But I'm loving it so far. It's definitely one of those games that I'm gonna keep playing and finish it. I might even want to platinum it, possibly. I don't know. I haven't platinumed not one game yet, but this is a possibility that I might want to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, right, I feel like because of how open world it is and how your missions are here and there, and there's literally only one goal is to rescue your grandfather, or not your grandfather, but your uncle.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot trapping me to the game, not tying me to the game. So I can kind of leave it for 4 or 5 days, play something completely different, and then come back to it and feel okay about it.
Do you like that or not like that?
It's kind of, I'm on the fence about it because I like it in the sense that I can enjoy it like that, and and I not come back and I feel like I'm so lost. But at the same time,
Story's not
that
good,
feels
right?
like a casual kind of game, and I'm not a casual game player. So yeah, I want something that's a little bit more enthralling, something that kind of gives me a lot more that's memorable about the game. Like I said before, I like the gameplay, so I like the fighting. So the combat is good. The graphics, the details, they're beautiful. The things that you have to do in the world, I feel like there's always something coming up, so that's nice. You know what I mean? Even if you're just riding down the road on your horse, you might see a little patrol, and then standoff pops up and it's fight me, you know what I mean, and you go out there,
Yeah, that's fun.
and whip them up, and all that stuff is cool. Doing the chains, I kind of wish that some of those chains were a little bit longer. I wish that you could damn near eradicate a group of 6 or 10 guys with a chain, and it'd be a little mini movie, of epicness. but they only allow you like a max of like 3 or 4 guys.
Well,
to
that cuts out a
eliminate.
lot of the combat fun too.
It
You
does.
do that.
But it's like I'll put it to you like this. It's like Fallout. VATS. When you played with VATS, it was kind of just like there's nothing. You know what I mean? There's no real aiming involved.
Mhm.
You have all the time in the world to make your decision.
It's like a
because they
turn-based.
slow down.
It's like a turn-based game.
Yeah, it kind of switches it up a little bit. So I would like it if I had that option. Like I don't have to play like that all the time, but I would like that option.
You do feel badass when you do those.
Yeah,
combinations.
it feels wicked. You know what I mean? When you just like you get that first cut off on the guy, and then you just do that slow motion pose, and then another dude runs
Slice
up.
another
God,
one,
you get him.
It is
Get another
fun,
guy. You know what I mean? But if you could just keep doing that and you never moved, you know what I mean? Like I see people's compilations. Yeah, for sure, OP. But
dude.
I see people's compilations that they put up and they turn them into GIFs or whatever, and they literally like do their cut. They get like the 3 or 4 people, and then they'll throw like a bomb, a sticky bomb or something like that, and they'll try to keep it so that they didn't move from their initial position. And it looks dope, you know what I mean? And then you do like a turnaround, and you're looking at the camera, and then and you kind of do like a slow pan as the dude like explodes off the sticky bomb or something, creative like that. But people are having fun with it, and I just think that would add more to the epicness if you were just like running through, like you could just go to a Mongol territory and just be like, fight me, and then everybody's just getting it.
Except the archers.
Yeah.
You gotta actually go kill the archers.
Yeah. But if you could get rid of every sword that's out there and all you have to do is worry about the arrows, that would be wicked. Because then you just go into your constitution, right? Slow mo, just pop them all down, and you literally would not move from that spot. You'd be able to eradicate a whole base and not move. I think that would be dope, and I don't know why they limited it in such a way, but I guess maybe that's for like to speed the gameplay along or something like that.
I mean, there's some thematic explanation for that, right?
Yeah.
Like once you see a samurai mow down 2 guys at the one swipe, you're gonna back off a bit, right? I'm not gonna rush in anymore.
But they don't.
No, I'm just saying, like, but in real life, like, they wouldn't all just keep coming at you to get killed. Like, they might take a minute and like regroup,
right,
and then come at you in a group. So, okay, you have to fight now.
Yeah,
you can't just slice them.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I like it enough to keep playing it. I definitely don't see it on the same level that I did when I initially got it. You know what I mean? Like, I could have probably held off on it instead of getting it like day one, but I enjoy it. You know what I mean? So, it's not like terrible, but if I had known what I knew, I probably would have just got like the disc version.
And what do you
know? Instead of being like locked in.
And what do you know?
Just knowing that it's a good game. It's not a great game, but it is a damn good game.
It does nothing great. It does many things good, but nothing great. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I feel like for most first person or third first party,
third person open world games.
Yeah, open world games and their RPGs and things like that. There's a lot of things that can be better about it, but there are things that it does good. I just feel like when I'm playing a one person game, a lot of the times I'm looking for a story to envelop me. Sometimes you have games like hack and slashers, like I wouldn't say God of War because I was interested in God of War's story, but the hack and slashing of that game kept you interested,
way more exciting,
and kept you wanting to go.
That's exactly what I kept going to in this game.
Yeah, but I
wishing it was more like God of War.
Yeah, so I feel like in that sense, you have a lot of time to just observe. And I feel like they got off what they were trying to do. They wanted you to observe the beauty of things, and they wanted it to feel like a movie at like every waking moment. And I feel like it does that. It feels like a movie when you're watching it. But I wish it was a little bit more fast-paced or a little more action-based. I mean, I also think it's kind of weird about the story, and how they, it's like, you got this guy who doesn't want you to go, I guess cowardly or whatever, dishonorable.
Dishonorable
But
fighting.
yet
yeah.
everything else is telling you to go that, and it literally makes it easy for you to go that way.
Right.
So I'm sure there's something later on in the story, dynamics or whatever, where you'll get to why that's a big thing or whatnot. But I feel like it's way too easy to go stealth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too easy. Like it's too many opportunities that are set up, like certain situations that you come into, and they're literally just there with their backs turned.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like it should have been harder for you to go the stealth route.
It's not strategic enough.
The samurai, yeah.
It's not like in Last of Us where you got to really systematically plan out your killing path.
Right, because you have certain creatures that are like, I can hear you really good, and you've got the other ones that can just see you damn good.
It's like frightening too, like as you're going through. This doesn't feel that way. It's like, okay, there, keep moving on the next one.
So, is there like a difficulty you could scale in this game, or are you guys just saying by design how they arranged?
By design.
Okay.
Is there a difficulty?
There might be,
but that's probably just mob health,
that's just
not
health. Mob health. Yeah.
Got you. So let me ask you this, Godly Sovereign. So I still haven't played the game.
Mm-hmm.
So don't platinum it. Let me borrow it. No, I'm just kidding. But
I think Certain Night will be able to let you borrow
because you got the digital.
Yeah, I got the digital.
No, I got digital too.
Oh damn! You gotta have to buy that one your own.
I see. Okay, so I watch people on some random streamers that I watch that play EverQuest and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing this game, which was kind of surprising. But a lot of them play like Souls games, so I thought maybe they thought like this was a
kind of like same
Souls
realm.
style
Yeah.
game. But I was watching some people play. It is fun to watch from a viewer's perspective. But my question is, I was looking at Metacritic, and it got a 82 or 83. I think an 83.
Mm-hmm.
But the users gave it a 92, which I think is very interesting because I always feel like the users is a little more accurate to how I feel normally. So what do you guys feel? Do you feel like the critic score is more accurate or the user score is more accurate?
Critic score.
Critic score.
The user score I think is I believe it's the product of people's anger with The Last of Us. A lot of people were frustrated with The Last of Us and what happened, and so you saw how that user. Did you see the user score on that one?
User score was pretty low.
It was about 3 or like a 2.3. There was people just threw up negative feedback because of the leaks they saw.
They're just being vindictive.
They're just being vindictive, and so they hated The Last of Us, and so they revel in the.
So you're saying they rebounded over to
this. They reveled in this notion that Ghost of Tsushima was something that they preferred over what happened in The Last of Us, and so they want to like artificially bump the score up. So for me, the critics nailed it. I think it's about an 8. It's about an 8.
Okay, so it's about an 8.
Wasn't it getting 10s when it came out?
A couple people gave it 10s, but for the most part, it's more mixed.
Okay.
Like with The Last of Us, it's almost unanimously praised. It's true. It's just so true. I think for me, playing The Last of Us 2 hurt Ghost of Tsushima, personally, because it's not a good story. It's not as beautiful as far as detail. It's beautiful looking, but it's not as beautiful as far as detail. They don't tell their story as well as The Last of Us does, even though there are some things that I hate about The Last of Us that I don't like as far as the story goes. The way they tell it is masterful. No one does it better. And Ghost of Tsushima, it really shows here how terrible they tell their story and how uninteresting their story is. Like, for me, there are some things I like about Ghost of Tsushima. I really like the combat, not the stealth. I don't really like the stealth. I'm with Godly Sovereign. I think it's a cheap way. It's very cheap. It's very easy. It doesn't feel suspenseful. It doesn't feel tactical.
I feel like it's just if you were passing by it and you just wanted to run through it real quick just so you could clear it and get it off your map, you just go stealth.
Yeah.
To do it all in.
The combat's fun. Yeah, the stealth is very cheap. It feels like I just cheaply killed everybody, right? Like, it does not feel good. It does not feel fleshed out at all. But I do enjoy the standoff, and I do enjoy the swordplay and switching stances for different enemies and parrying. I do enjoy that. It does feel a little clunky, like what Godly Sovereign is saying. So I would rather have a more fluid hack and slash feeling to it than a little drawn out and slow kind of wait for the parry. I'd rather have a more God of War. Let's just beat each other down, right?
It's kind of like what we were talking about on the last podcast when we were talking about getting ready to play it and whatnot, and it's like they're dancing. Feels like
Yes, there's more
they're
of a
dancing
dance
on
to
everything.
it.
Yeah,
Even Sekiro is way faster. Like even
Yeah.
Sekiro is a much
Yeah, for
faster
sure.
combat than even this is. And Sekiro I consider pretty slow. But Sekiro is just night and day better than this game as far as like combat goes. But I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the combat. I don't enjoy the story. Like I just don't enjoy it. It's boring as heck to me, and I don't like how they force me to walk slowly through a section so they can fit in this conversation they think I want to hear as I'm walking to the next mission location. Like I run to this hut to meet this person for the next mission, and then we got to go to this place across the valley. So let's go, but we have to walk there to get there because we have to talk about how's your brother doing? How's your relationship with so-and-so? And I'm like, come on, let's get to the action, right?
yeah. But
I'm bothered by it.
Yeah, at the same time though, I do remember a lot of instances in The Last of Us 2 that had that on there as well, where they kind of bottlenecked your speed so that you could go through like certain areas or whatever and have those conversations.
It was much lighter though. It was for a much shorter period of time. And because the environment is so detailed and there's so much to see and the action is so frequent that those little moments of respite are welcome, like in The Last of Us. Like because the moments are so tense and so crazy. Like when you just get through, a whole den of, walkers or whatever, clickers. You're like, gosh, I want to take a breath a minute, like that was tense, getting through that. Like I want to just take a moment to breathe. And so I welcome the little scenes that allow me to do that. And then we're right back in the action. Ghost of Tsushima, it starts off slow. It's not like you enter into a battle scene and then after you have like this slow, which, okay, I'm ready now to take a break. They make me break before the action starts. I want to get into the action first and then I'm fine taking a break after. Because I just got done with a whole bunch of action. I'm cool stopping to talk about something. But forcing us to talk, it's not an interesting conversation either. Like, it's not interesting to listen to. I don't care about how her relationship with her brother from, Kwaijian or whatever is doing. I don't care about, he's the best swindler in town. I don't care about that kind of. Nothing's interesting about that. The story, like Marcus said, is super shallow. All it is me just trying to save my uncle. There's nothing depth there. There's nothing emotionally gripping there. There's nothing emotionally difficult to deal with there. And the combat's clunky. It's pretty, but it's also copy and paste. So the world gets kind of boring a little bit after a while. And another pet peeve of mine is the camera angle sucks. The camera angles are terrible.
You can't control the camera?
You can, but there's no transparency. So if my dude walks, so if I'm fighting a guy,
so there's clipping on the environment.
You walk by a building or something.
If we're fighting, let's say I'm fighting a guy near a doorway, and the fight goes through the doorway.
The camera.
My camera's outside still because it's third person. My camera's outside because it's third person still, and I can't see my guy. So my guy walks into the building, and I can't see what's going on. I have to quickly pan, and then like all I can have is just the doorway view because the game will not make transparent whatever my camera's looking through.
Or at least
or
give
a
them
tree
like
gets
an
in the
etched
way.
out line or something.
Yeah, or
like
an etched
that.
out line, like a tree will get right in my way. Like I'll be fighting, and then the tree will get right in my way, and I can't even see what I'm doing anymore. It's the most frustrating thing, and it's like I should be able to at least see what my guy sees. If my guy's in front of the tree but my camera's behind it, my guy's in front. So I should be seeing what my guy at least sees, right? Like the view is third person, but I should see what my guy is seeing. Like
so you can't go first person at all, right?
Nope, you can't go first person at all. It just feels like, did they forget to make the camera transparent? Did someone forget to do this? It feels like a mistake.
I feel like the reason they didn't do the transparency on it is because one, it may take you out of the immersion of the world.
But like I said, I should be able to at least see what my guy is seeing.
Yeah, I feel like that would be fixed if you had like some type of a lock.
There's no lock
on the
system,
character or something
which would
like that.
help.
Yeah, but I think they just did it so you can catch like a clean shot at any moment. You know what I mean? Of like a beautiful scene, possibly.
Yeah, but not with the tree trunk in my face.
Right, but it might be like, it might be the way the guy looks or something like that.
It's bad. It's bad. It's very frustrating and it happens all the time because there's trees and stuff all over the place. It's really bad. For me, that's the biggest pet peeve I have with it is the cameras.
I did like how the fact that the horse that you have is not affected much by the trees. I remember used to hating that for Red Dead Redemption 2. Just trying to go through like a forest or something, and then you make like a wrong turn or whatever with the horse, smack into a tree, and then you're off your horse. You know what I mean? It's this sucks.
But if you go back to it, you'll see that there's transparency, right? Like once my guy passes up a tree, now things become transparent in my camera.
Yeah.
The
trees, it allows you to catch the view still in front of you.
Yeah, that's at least in front of my guy. Like the trees that are in front of my guy should be solid and can't get through, but when I pass it now it should be. And I have a real hard time with the I think it's super lazy. I do not like the gathering system, just running around and collecting hundreds of little supply parts and bamboo and linen. I don't like that. I much rather have like a Bloodborne style where I collect shards every now and again. An obvious dead bodies there, I go collect and I get shards, or like Dark Souls, where you find the shard pieces and you're working towards like this big upgrade. And it's much more clear and obvious rather than constantly trying to collect every little corner, every little thing that I find. I'd rather it just be a little bit more purposeful.
It's like quality over quantity.
Yeah,
like you
quality
want, like,
over quantity.
Finding things.
Meaningful finding things.
Gotcha.
That's what I would prefer, where I want to look in every corner, but I don't want to feel like I have to go. It should be more, quality where it's obvious, okay, that corner is going to have something I want in it. Or then, okay, I better run in this room, every single room and every single edge and just kind of like pressing a button, trying to collect as much as I can. It just feels super lazy and cheap to me.
I hear what you're saying on that one, and I feel like, when I'm going on like a path, which is kind of funny because if you're following somebody on a horseback or something like that, and you're going through like a part of the forest or something, or maybe a town, and there's like some supplies sitting on the side twinkling, and you go off to go and get it, like, oh, I'm here, I'm not probably coming back, so I'm just gonna grab everything that I see right now. Sometimes they have things that are a little bit further than what they would like you to go. And so then this little thing pops up saying you're out of the area that you should be in, go back. And it starts a countdown. And it's kind of like, well, damn, you put all this shit here.
I need to collect it.
You put all this stuff here.
What does it count down for?
500 supplies.
It's to tell you that you're going to like fail the mission and it's going to restart you at your checkpoint if you don't go back. So like if you just stopped in the middle of gameplay and just went off.
So if you wanted to explore something off the trail.
If you're in a mission.
In the middle of a mission. It will
if you're in the middle of a mission, which is making that point, which is why I find myself when I play the game avoiding the missions. I want to go, what I'll do is I'll go destroy an outpost or I'll do something because I want to fight. I want to get into the action. I find myself avoiding the missions. And when I join a mission, you have to make sure you have about 20, 25 minutes solid time because you're not going to be able to walk away from it at any time you want. You have to make sure you finish the sequence of the mission before you can go do something else. And the missions have those boring opening sequences. It takes a while to get into the action.
I wish you could kind of skip like the little scenes they have with like, they'll have like some kanji on the screen and then it'll have like the title of the mission and then like this nice pretty view. And it's like, that's cool and all, but like I wish I had the skip option. Just go. I feel like with that, there's load screens incorporated. That all of that is load screens to load certain aspects.
Oh, the conversation and the dialogue and stuff. Yeah,
the stuff that they're forcing you to take a look at. The end of the mission, it pans out to show you like petting your horse, but you cannot move whatsoever.
Come on,
and then it's like an end scene thing, as if they were taking a snapshot of you for you. And it's just like, damn, I just like as soon as I'm done with the mission, I want to like turn it in, cool. Get my stuff and then hop on my horse and go and be off, or check my map. But I gotta wait until the end of this cutscene to check my map, and then I can finally move forward and whatnot.
Right. If there's something I'm talking a lot of bad, but if there's some good,
we are mentioning a lot of bad.
We're mentioning a lot of bad, but there are some things that I do wish more RPGs would employ. Like I do like the birds that lead you and the foxes that lead you.
Yeah, that stuff is awesome.
Yeah, and the smoke screens that kind of, I'm gonna go in that direction to see what that is. Like I like the way that they invite you into their world, that give you hints rather than always pop. I don't pop the map open very often in this game, which I find myself not using the map very often.
That's good.
I might only open it just to go, what's the next main mission, right? I'll find that. But
Yeah.
you could just kind of just keep going, and you could just run in one direction and find lots of things to do because the animals and the environment lead you to those things. And so I wish more open world games would do that. They do that very well. I wish there was more RPG, though. I wish there was more gear to find, more loot.
Yeah, I feel like the real loot in the game is the bamboo, the supplies, the linen, the stuff that you use to upgrade your gear and things like that. And that's cool and all. I do enjoy the musician quests that you come across.
Me too.
Because it's like
it's something cool.
Yeah, some legendary armor
thing,
or a weapon or something like that. That some master, who died and it's hidden and everything. But the one thing that I don't like about them is that they all have the same aspect. It's like you have this one location,
same process.
Yeah, you go and hear the tale from the musician, and then from there, there's one location that you have to find,
explore it.
That that you know the area, the general location, so you go over there and then you search around in that area, and then that is going to lead you to another area that you have to go to. So
search around in
that area, and the whole time there's somebody following you, telling you not to continue.
And then you fight them.
You get to the very end where you find the thing, and then
it's like a boss fight.
You might have to fight them, or they want you to utilize it. So whatever it is, I'm not gonna spoil stuff for you, but basically you can find a bow, and then it's like, oh nah, you don't just got the bow, you got to make it out here with the bow. So you have to then use that bow good, damn good.
You gotta be good with
in order to get out of there. So,
I didn't even use the bow. I just went and killed everybody with my sword.
Did you?
Yeah. But let me ask you this, dude.
Okay.
Something else that annoys me. Cross upgrading material, where I need the material across multiple different things to upgrade.
Having to use the supplies to
for my
upgrade
sword,
your armor,
my bow, my
sword.
armor, my pouch.
Yeah.
I need it for everything. I'd rather it be more deliberate. Like you need these items for this upgrade, these items for this. I know.
Yeah, if I could just use steel and iron or something like that for my sword to upgrade it, and then I could use linen and leather for my armor or something like that.
Hides for my bow.
Yeah, and even if we're talking about high tier level, they didn't wear metal armor, but if they were to, okay, now you need some steel to get the last top line of it, of that one. But I mean, the fact that they have so many different armors that you can get out there that have so many different little details about them that make them good or not, and it's not one that's overwhelmingly great, oh, I'm gonna use that for sure. It's you get some extra health on this one, or you get a little bit more time with your bow on this one, or you get a little bit more damage with this one, or a little bit more stamina or something like that. So in those things, it's kind of okay, it's just you just choose the armor now according to your game style, because you're damn sure not going to get any bonuses if you just pick it for how you like it, how you think it looks. Because I got stuff on that I like, and I'm okay, it's like a bow bonus, but I'm sitting here with my blade the majority of the time or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's now it's okay, I should use my bow more because I'm using this thing. But we'll move on in a minute. But I just wanted to ask you about this, Ray. How do you feel about the character itself? Jin Sakai.
A little boring. I wish he was a little more interesting, but he's not bad. I've tried both Japanese and English.
Okay.
And I actually think the Japanese is much better.
I think his mouth is moving better to the Japanese.
Yes, the mouth
language
moves much better. But because they have so many conversations while you're riding to the destination or walking to the destination, I can't read and do that at the same time, right? So I ended up turning back the English. I turned the English back on, was because I couldn't. because I want to see the bamboo that I can grab as I'm going. Like I want to look at the world as
You
I'm
want to focus
riding
on the
through
world,
it,
but you're focusing on the writing.
and I can't read at the same time. So I needed to turn the English back on. But when I did turn the Japanese on, I felt the world it felt better. Like it made more sense.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that when watching cutscenes. Like I saw their lips moving, and it's kind of funny because it reminded me of like the old school Asian movies.
It doesn't line up at all.
Yeah, where like their lips are moving like crazy, and then you hear like 2 words. You know what I mean? And so it's like, like if that's what they were going for, they totally nailed it. But I wish that they had lip movement for each language that they tried to use, because that just would have made it feel more real, I guess, or something, like I was actually watching. But the main thing I was asking about the character is like, I don't like his personality. I don't see anything from it. I don't like, even when times are hard in clips, you know what I mean? His facial expressions are minimal at most. Like I don't see him as a stone cold-blooded killer. So I feel like he should be having some type of facial expressions when he's discussing something. I feel like, getting through like The Last of Us 2, I feel like there was so much facial expression
everything
that I've been spoiled
so
now.
Detailed, which is why I said I think playing The Last of Us 2 hurt
Kind of.
Ghost of Tsushima. It did, because like the storytelling and the detail, the facial, everything is so good. I wish I can go back and like play that again. But yeah, I agree. Like I really didn't like Jim when he was a kid learning from his uncle. Like a couple of those scenes, he seemed like a jerk. Like he was like this snob, royalty guy. I didn't like him. There was nothing endearing about him. He seemed like someone I dislike, and he's supposed to be the hero. And I want to ask you this too, Stone. Like, is there are you uncomfortable, dude? Like, isn't it kind of weird when like you're running through like this village and people are on the ground dying and they're like asking for help. Their village just got burned and I'm running around taking all their supplies.
That's messed up.
And their linen. That's messed up. Like, that's weird to me. Like, I don't like this gathering system.
So I mean, in certain areas, right? I feel like there's people there just to be there. Like even in like the Golden Temple, there's just a lot of people there and they're not doing anything, like they're not really serving a purpose but to try to make the world look like it's alive. But yeah, when you go through like certain villages and stuff like that, and they've maybe had something like, like their village has been burnt down and there's Mongols nearby and things like that. I feel like they're just fodder there.
Stuff,
but it's like, just like, I'm gonna pass you up. I know you're bleeding a bit, you're holding your leg and everything, but I gotta get that supply behind you. So I gotta get this armor upgraded, you know what I mean? So I need you to move, my guy.
I need that iron, buddy.
So is that leather behind you? Move him out to the way. But yeah, so but I mean, regardless of how much bad stuff that we can mention about, Ghost of Tsushima, we still like the game.
It's still a good game.
I still enjoy the game. It's just that, if you want to be nitpicky, you can. If there's a couple of things that you could wish for, you can. There's lots of things to wish for.
Yeah.
In this, so it's just, it's just one of those things.
We wanted a lot more. We were hoping for a lot more. It's more of a letdown than a bad game.
Yeah.
Disappointment, really. But it's good. It's just there's some things that feel incomplete about it. So I would agree with the Metacritic 8.3. It's still good.
Yeah. Every now and again when I come across games that I was really hyped for, and then I'm kind of not let down per se, but like my reaction has been sullied a bit or whatnot. I kind of get nervous for those other games that are coming out that I'm really looking forward to, like Cyberpunk 2077. Like, is this going to be a good game like I think it is,
bro?
Or am I going to be disappointed again?
After playing Ghost, I'm feeling the same exact way.
I think that means you need to buy a physical copy.
I'm probably going to,
or you can sell it.
I'm probably going to try to buy a physical copy of that one.
Same.
But yeah, it's just like, man, that's probably gonna be like one of the first physical copies that I buy for the PS5. I think I'm just gonna wait for the PS5 on that one. But yeah, for Cyberpunk. But yeah, I just feel like It's like, dang, man,
Yeah.
I was looking forward to this, and I thought it was just gonna be something that was gonna have me enthralled, just like in
Same.
it. You know what
Which
I
is
mean?
why I bought the digital version of it.
Right. You know, day one, hour one. You
And I've
know,
been kind of
but,
avoiding it.
yeah.
I
So
kind of want to go back and play Persona 5 Royal again.
yeah, I mean, I right now I'm
You're
just
playing
like I want to
Grounded.
play Grounded.
Yeah,
for more,
I know,
You know what
I
I mean?
know.
Because I want to get better
It's
at
fun,
Grounded.
yeah.
But yeah, but anyways, you know, moving on from Ghost of Tsushima, before we go, you know, did you have anything else that you wanted to add, you know, or ask about Ghost? before we move on?
No, I mean, if I was gonna buy it, I'd buy a physical copy.
Yeah.
Just because I like to
That's smart.
have it, or I like to sell it if I don't like it.
Right.
So that just reinforces the point for me that if I do play this game or buy this game, I'll buy a physical copy. My expectations weren't as high as both of you guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought it looked awesome, but
Mhm.
it wasn't something that I would buy like, you know, day one digital. It wasn't there for me.
Okay.
I wasn't sure on the Metacritic score, you know,
Mhm.
but that makes complete sense based on what you guys say. I definitely see it being in the low
Mhm.
80s. That seems like a, you know,
Yep.
82-ish. That seems
Yep.
like a pretty
They nailed
fair
it.
score,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't mean it's a bad game. That means it's
No,
a great game.
It's a
It's
good
higher,
game.
it's way
Anything
higher
over
than that.
80
Good.
is
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
But you know, it ain't a 90,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you know, moving on, they did show a little bit of the Avengers War Table again.
oh yeah.
I mean, it definitely wasn't as big
Mhm.
this time around as it was for the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But they did want to give us a little bit of information. So, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know, I'm just gonna start it off. It seemed pretty quick to me. I think the first War Table might have been like 40 to like
Yeah,
an
it was
hour or
long.
something like that.
Yep.
But this one, I think it was almost like 15, maybe, you know, no more than 30 minutes for sure. It was really quick, and straight to the point. I basically felt like it shouldn't have been declared a war table. It should have just been an extra
Update.
little, update of
Update,
information
yeah.
that had just been put out, kind of like a trailer in a sense or whatnot. But, you know, so they showed us what was going on, what was their timeline for everything. They also brought up that they were going to have a beta for people who pre-ordered the game. And then they were going to release that, like open that beta up
Mm-hmm.
further on for people who just, you know, wanted to try it out so they could try to sell more. And then, you know, and they introduced a new character that they were going to have. And this character is DLC. So it's like, okay, why, if you're introducing it now and the game is like nowhere near, you know, well, I mean, it's near being out because it comes out in September, but like, why are you giving me this DLC now? Like, why wouldn't you just like put it in the game, you know? Or is it like,
got this guy?
yeah, or is it like,
Forgot he was an Avenger.
yeah, or is this like you know, kind of like a day one DLC, like they
Yeah.
didn't, like they've already got the games produced or something like that, and in disc form, and they're already at Walmart, but like, hey, we did want to give you this guy.
Yeah.
So, you know, as soon as you pop the game in, load everything up, boom, there's gonna be another download to install on your game system, and then you'll be able to play with the legendary Hawkeye.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just funny because like that is the guy that I said the last time we
Yeah,
did
that's who
this
you
that
wanted to
I
play.
wanted to play. And because it was like I was like, why is Black Widow there but not Hawkeye? Like I'm not understanding where is he? That's who I would choose. And then sure enough, I think there might have been more people who were like me that were wondering where he's at. I think the videos I watched, a lot of people were saying that. And so sure enough, it's like they almost forgot that Hawkeye was an Avenger too. The original, because you were talking about like the original cast, like where all the original Avengers at, like they're kind of like they're not there.
Yeah.
So Hawkeye gets announced. So I'm pumped about that, and I do like the for me the biggest part of the news was Hawkeye because that's sweet. That's who I'm trying day one, right? Or as soon as I can, I guess. But it was cool. The beta is pretty extensive. They're giving us some war zones, right, where we can play.
Yeah, I
co-op.
think they're giving you
Yeah,
like
co-op.
two war zones and two other little
Yeah,
zones.
so that was generous of them for a beta. I'm excited to try that out now. Still not happy about the character locked heroes per mission, but they're giving us war zones, so they'll be able to appease what I want out of that game, which is an individual experience.
Yeah, I'm excited that this open beta it's initially for the PlayStation, which is fine for people that pre-order it, you know, which I don't have a problem with. But they're opening it up to PC and Xbox on the last beta. So I'm really excited for that. And you don't have to pre-order the game to participate, because for me, I don't really like pre-ordering games. I'm being honest. I'll pre-order like the week of that it's coming out, and then you get some little bonus.
Might do it like 2 days before.
Yeah, the
Just to
day
get the
before.
bonus.
That's as far as I do pre-orders, because I don't like the system. I don't like them getting the money when the product is not launched yet. But I'm glad that we can all try the game without pre-ordering it and seeing if it's something that we're gonna like. I feel like this is gonna be something that's gonna be a pretty good game, so I'm not too worried there. But it's generous of them to just let us try it for free. So I'm really shout out to what is it, Crystal
Dynamics.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys for doing that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That should be awesome.
The pre-order problem is why I couldn't get Ghost of Tsushima physical, because I went to my Walmart. Walmart was having some promotion where if you bought it in person, you got $10 off. But my Walmart wasn't participating, so I was like, well, shoot, I'm going to go across the street to GameStop then, because I at least got my $5 coupon. You know, I get $5 off of it, so I went over there. Oh, no, sorry, you can't buy this until Monday because it's only for people who pre-order. I was like, so seriously? I can only buy the game if I pre-ordered it? And so
Which
that
is
pissed me off
ridiculous.
about
That locks
pre-orders.
up game sales.
Yes.
That doesn't
So
make sense.
you went on launch.
On launch
when
day,
the game
and I
was
could
already
not
out,
get one at GameStop.
and they said you need to pre-order it when the game is already released.
I know. It was only for people who had pre-ordered it. So I had to wait until Monday for them to unlock their copies for everyone else.
What?
But you could have bought it at Walmart though.
I could have just bought it at Walmart.
But you wanted that
So
deal.
let me
But
ask
I
you
was
this.
trying to get the deal. Not by then I was like, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm going
So
home.
my Walmart sells brand new games for $50.
Yeah, my Walmart doesn't.
Really?
They were the one Walmart not participating.
What the heck?
So I
Oh
was
my gosh,
pretty
such a
pissed
game
off.
up, man.
Yeah.
I hate that. How you a corporation, but not everybody
That's
is
weird,
following
dude.
it.
I thought all of them did that. All of them around here do
Me
that.
too. So I went in there. They're looking at me cross-eyed. Huh?
You talked to
I
the
never heard
manager?
of that.
What
Well, I talked to the
the
electronic
heck?
manager. Yeah, I'm like, it's right here. It's everywhere. Advertised. Huh? Like none of them had a clue what I was talking about. Making me like an idiot.
Yeah.
So I was like,
They didn't want the money then.
yeah, you guys are trying real hard not to sell me a game. Fine, you know. But yeah, so the only time I agree with pre-orders is if they're giving me something neat. So I feel like my $5 is giving me that. Like not the like I agree with you. Like I don't like giving them money for something they haven't produced yet. That makes a lot of sense. But if I'm getting something cool for the pre-order, then like I feel like that's what I'm getting and not the game. But yeah, ultimately, principally, I agree with Mark on pre-orders
Yeah, I still feel like
Yeah.
my Biomutant pre-order was a decent pre-order.
Oh yeah.
because you're getting a cool.
Got a free statue
yeah,
out of
so
it.
That's
That's awesome.
So it didn't cost you really anything more.
Yeah,
so.
but other than that, yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
there's
you
not
really
too much
they really have to
necessity.
give you a lot for me to pre-order it. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to give me a lot.
some cool stuff.
Sometimes
yeah.
some in-game stuff is like enough to like kind of sell
Get
me
you?
to like
Yeah.
to pre-order it like a couple days before it comes out. Like, oh, I knew I was gonna get it. I know I'm gonna get it in 2 days, so let me go ahead and store it right now and pre-order it.
Yeah,
Or
for
pre-order
me,
online
I
or
used to feel
something.
like that too. But then every game when you buy it on launch day, it comes with all the pre-order crap in the box.
I did see some.
I
of
hate
that.
So
that,
I
man.
stopped doing that. I used
Yeah,
to like
launch-
that. Ooh, I get
launch
it.
The
edition.
launch
get this.
edition.
Yeah, and everything's launch edition for like a month.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's all the copies they have. Like they overproduce those copies,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, one thing that was weird about the Ghost of Tsushima is that they had a couple of like different pre-orders that you could get. Like you had to get the like deluxe, the bigger one. I think that's like maybe $70 or something like that. Physical copy wise. That had like the steel bookcase and everything in
Oh.
order to get like the face mask with the extra horse skin and something else. But you could get the digital version, the digital deluxe version, and it was a little bit cheaper, I believe, and you could get that on it if you.
Yeah, see, I'm for pre-ordering like steel books and stuff because those have resale value.
you're getting something more, right?
Do
You
they?
get money.
They hold
Yeah.
money?
Okay, so for Pokemon, the Sword and Shield, right?
Uh-huh.
I got the golden steel book, right?
Yeah,
So I bought the dual pack.
Right.
They don't give you any discount. So you buy Pokemon Sword and
it's just
Shield,
like buying both games.
you
at
sell them
once.
for 120, right? Guess how much I sold the steel book for?
How much?
110.
Just the steel
Wow.
book.
Just
only.
the steel book. I got the games for free, and then I sold the DLC code that came with it, which wasn't even DLC. It just gave you 2 Pokemon early, and I sold that for 30. So I made money. I got the games for free by selling by getting the steelbook.
That's a nice little.
So for games like
right
that,
there.
get the steelbook. You know,
Okay.
that's worth it.
Yeah, but they got to be those.
They have to be the iconic
cult favorites.
Yeah, they have to be cult followings.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Like Fable, that steelbook might be worth
Gotta
something.
Steelbook that game, right?
Gotta steelbook that one.
Yeah,
that might be worth something.
yeah. I think I might favor. If they got a statue or something, I'm done.
He's statuing up.
130. Huh? Where's my wallet?
I don't care. I'm statuing up.
Oh, you got a sword and it's 200? I bet. Let me get that. But yeah, so moving on from the war table, we were grounded this weekend.
Yeah, we were.
Right?
Yep.
And I can honestly admit that I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Playing it single player, I thought that it was a lot to do. And I felt like the world was bigger than what it actually is, just because like it takes so long to traverse to like one side of the map to the other side, you know what I mean? And things aren't easily acquired, and dang spiders and stuff like that. But, how did you feel about it, Sir Knight?
Yeah, so lots of good here. Because I was a little skeptical when we
You were a
talked
lot
about
of
the
skeptical.
release.
Yeah, you were.
I was a lot of skeptical.
I was surprised. Go ahead.
Because for one, I think it looked better than the video. The video looked a little grainy when they showed the trailer. The trailer was a little grainy. This is really, it was very clear and crisp and high definition. When they first drop you in the world and you're in that kind of like canyon, and then you step out of the canyon into like the garden, it's like, whoa, that is dope, right? Like it feels large and you feel tiny, and it's very well done. Like in that regard, the world feels very detailed and thematic and immersive. Like I feel immersed as a little man in this world. I do think where they dropped the ball on the immersion is my character. He doesn't seem afraid to be there. He seems like, oh no, I shrunk down today to hang out down here. Like that's what it kind of feels like. Like that ant wants a piece of me, fine. Like it's just kind of like, like he's like not worried. I'd be like super confused. I'd be like super lost and cautious. I'd be like turning at every little, ruffle of the grass. And like it just feels like a normal day in the park for these guys that are down there playing. So I think that the story there needs to be fleshed out a little bit. It was kind of punishing a little bit at the start too. Like when I would lose my backpack down in like an ant hole, like it felt very difficult to have to find the materials to be able to go back down there. And especially if it was at night, I had to go and collect the materials to find a torch, or I couldn't even like really navigate it. And so like it felt a little punishing at first. With the backpack dropping and having to traverse my way back to that place without dying again, I was getting a little annoyed because it's really important to me that I feel like I'm progressing in some way. Like the time that I'm investing into this game, I need to feel like I made some progress of some kind. And for a little bit of the while there that we were playing, I was feeling like I wasn't making any progress, and I was getting a little bit annoyed and perturbed by it. But towards the end of the night, weekend, Stone and I were like building, my base. I was having a ton of fun. That left me thinking about the game when I left that night to thinking about I kind of want to go back in there now
so you can
build some more.
Finish it up and then
I was having a lot of fun. It was starting to stick. Like what Marcus really liked about it, what Mark really liked about it. Why I saw why you guys liked it so much. It started to stick with me, and I can understand why. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to going back in there, even more so than Ghost of Tsushima, right? Like I kind of want to go back in there, and it was fun. It was fun collecting and building. Once I got my spawn location tied down so I know where I'm at and I'm not like 100 miles away from my dead backpack, like it became more progressively way more interesting and fun, and I'm looking forward to jumping back into it now. So I enjoyed my time with it, so it's a play for sure.
Yeah, for me, at first glance I liked the theme of it. I like how it looked. I thought the graphics were fine, from the trailers and stuff, so I went in with high expectations, and then I wasn't pleasantly surprised, but I got what I was expecting. It's a fun game. To me it's relaxing, it's chill. When I play by myself, I normally just try to build stuff. I like, just putting together a base. To me, that's like progression to me. I even break down my house and let me try to make it a different way. I really like builders like that, like Trove had some cool aspects. Minecraft, I like the little building a base, even if I don't fight any enemies or do the story To me, that's a major component that adds replayability. And when you're playing with friends and you guys are all contributing, you're all, cutting the blades of grass together, bringing over, all the
That was fun.
pieces.
Yeah, we were able to put together quite a bit of Sir Knight's house
Nice.
after you had left, just because we had like a few minutes, and it was like one person was just hacking down grass
One
and
person was
dropping it
bringing
off,
it
and the
over
other
it.
person was putting it
Nice.
up on the house. You know what I mean? So it was like a little chain.
Yeah,
and
see,
you were
that's
able to
cool.
build quite a bit. So
That's really cool. Just playing with a bunch of buddies, building a mansion. I'd say it has a lot of replayability. The one thing I didn't like was when I joined your game, Sir Knight.
Oh,
I lost all my recipes,
bro. Exactly.
I'll be happy if I kept the recipes.
Yeah, even
at
just
the
your
very
recipes.
least. I'm happy with collecting stuff. That's fun. But I have to research everything again, and then when I research stuff, I take your researches. Like,
Yeah.
it's only as a group we can only do 3 every 15 minutes per little research spot. So other than that, I would say that was my only complaint. The game was short, but it's in a game preview. Can't complain there. But overall, this is a great game.
I think the progression, I agree. But what I was having a hard time with too is like when I was dying and had to run back to find my backpack, run back. That's where I felt like I wasn't progressing.
Yeah, I had like a cool moment when I was playing by myself where it might have been like for 20 minutes I was just getting handed by soldier ants and spiders like consistently because I was just trying to get my stuff.
And that's not fun to me.
And like the fact that it's like, okay, great. I started, building my house or whatever, and I've got my spawn location set. But the fact that I spawned and there's absolutely nothing that I got to keep, and I have to like go and build it all again, or I have to go back and retrieve my stuff, like it just makes it a little bit.
And I think that's just because you guys don't play survival games. You guys don't play games like this, because that's not a problem for anyone who played a game like this before. You build storage at your base. You store all your loot. When you're out scavenging, you bring the necessities. You bring a hammer. You bring your crafting stuff. You bring all your important gear is in your bank, is in your stash at your base. So I think as we play this game more, you'll start building all your stashes, your 20 that can hold 20 items each. You find cool stuff. You start organizing your loot, and it's losing your bag is not really a big deal because you got the stash at your house.
Right. And I think as you progress and you're able to build those things, I see that.
Yeah.
But it was just you collecting so much, right? You for the last 30 minutes or even more, all we were doing was collecting items we needed. Find these items.
Yeah, dry grass,
and then you just run into
plant fibers,
all this stuff, and then the next minute you run into a spider by accident. It insta shots you.
Yeah.
You guys now are dead, and I got to run back, and it's like it feels like it just like no.
Yeah,
all that work, no, right? Like I'm just in that feeling I don't like. But once you get into it, and if you have the patience, right, and you get to the point where you can steadily build something and build those things, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I already, I have played some Survivors, so I do know that you kind of have to get off the good stuff like into a storage like ASAP. But at the same time, I felt like it was kind of discouraging because like you're doing all of that other stuff and you have all of your bare essentials, but literally in this game your bare essentials is almost like 10 items. You know what I mean? You got to have a hammer with you. You got to have an axe with you. You should probably have a spear with you to fight something. You may have a heavier weapon. You're probably going to get some clothes at some point. You might want a dandelion, so if you're at the top of a branch, you might want to float down or whatever. You're going to want some food on you. You're probably going to want to have some water. I just named like 10 things, you know what I mean? Like that, or things that's going to take up like 10 slots for you. And then for you to go out there and then like to get downed by a spider or an ant or something like that. And then they just babysit your bag. Like they don't move. They just stay lurking around your things. And it's just like, come on, guy, kill me. All right, cool. Bye. Go do something else. Go find another victim or something. Don't sit there perched around my bag. I was sitting here battling a freaking soldier ant because he's just uber aggroed, and all I'm trying to do is get my bag. But at the same time, my pride is like, you just kill me, I'm gonna have to get a couple of swipes in, but then you just kill me again. So we're at this constant rotation where it's like, all right, well now I just feel like I have to kill you because you just did me dirty so many times. So I'm like in this, in this struggle, just trying to get this one ant. But every time I die, he's just by my bag. So
yeah, for me personally, I could care less about dying. My stuff's there because my stuff is there. So I'll come back later. I'll go because in the amount, if you're spending 30 minutes getting your bag, you could have collected everything and more that you had in the bag in that same amount of time. So for me,
but I gotta do it over again. That bothers me. Redoing what I just did over the last 30 minutes
having
over
to
again
recraft my axe, having to recraft
me.
the spear, but
Gotcha.
you gotta go.
I don't
and
have
spend
time
the time
like
to gather
that.
that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have a half hour to waste. Like
I just feel like it adds danger to. I love when games are difficult and there's like a sense of danger in the world. I'm not gonna walk around. It might not be smart to walk around with a full bag. You're like, oh, I gotta go drop this off at my stash at my house.
didn't have a choice I didn't have a choice.
You don't have a choice,
yeah.
but at the same time, at the beginning, you have rocks and crap anyway, so nothing you have is of value.
hard
Yeah,
to get,
but it took a good 15 20 minutes to collect enough items to build the hammer, then to build the rock hammer, then to build the spear, then to build all those little materials that I needed.
But I think that's only at the first, because when I joined your world, I already had the knowledge. So by the time I went from the tunnel to where you're at, I already had all the tools, and you were still holding a rock.
Yeah, because you remembered some of the recipes, and you're like, okay, I got to get this.
I was already
stuff
building
quicker.
everything, so I just feel like at first it is punishing, but I feel like as the game progresses, as things get harder, you hopefully learn the recipes and start building your base out. I feel like it could, it's a good balance. When you learn more, it's harder. So, there's a cool challenge throughout the game. It's not easy mode like a lot of games, because I hate when games are too easy. Like, I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, but Kingdom Hearts 3 was so easy.
Easy.
I didn't even finish it because it was just like you could button mash the whole game.
I think for me, that's the only complaint I have is just the starting of the game. You can make it hard and punishing, but at least make it a little bit more understanding of what I'm supposed to be doing then, because that's what it feels like. I was wasting my time. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing.
You're supposed to survive.
Yeah. So I was collecting things, right? And I was collecting all this stuff, and I'm open my bag and I'm slowly piecing it together, and then I die. Right. And it's like, oh my gosh, like that was a whole waste of time. It makes me want to just shut the game off.
Gotcha.
It makes me want to just, you know what, forget it. I'm shutting the game off. Like, so you have to persevere to see the beauty in it. So if there's a way that they can tweak that, I could still die and my bag drops, but it makes me feel like, okay, it's a little bit more directive where I know, okay, I know how I can get myself back in the game. Like I didn't feel that way. It felt like Marcus said, debilitating. Like I felt just, discouraged.
Yeah, but like at the same time, what Mark was saying, after playing it and then for a minute and you start kind of getting the grasp of things, you're like, okay, I just need to go ahead and collect these pellets. Like whenever I come across them, I need to collect clovers. How I was telling you, like, okay, I know the roof's gonna require these clovers, so let me go ahead and hack these down along with the grass. Let me just stack all of these things. I see a spider web with no spider bite, I'm going over to it so I can pick it, get that silk from it, whatever. You know what I mean? Try to take advantage. Like, oh, it's flower petals. I'm gonna just grab any and everything that I know that I will need later on while I'm here, just cause, and try to figure it out. But keep like certain things on stack. Like once you have enough clover and woven fiber, then you can start to make like a helmet and armor, chest armor, and then some shin guards or whatever. And then all you need to repair it is clovers. So it's like, okay, I'll just keep a lot of clovers on deck. So I know I'm gonna be dying quite often. So when I go back from my bag, the repair value is gonna be low. So I'm just gonna, use my clovers to repair it and stuff. And you start pulling out the pallets to kind of help. Like, okay, I'm gonna just, while I'm here with some grass blades, I'm gonna just bring them back just in case I want to do something with it, whatever. But I was definitely having fun with it. I think the hardest thing for me in my world was trying to find gnats at the moment so I could get a bow. Because I wanted to make my bow and arrows so that I could try to kill some of these spiders that were getting me. But we found that one spot, so I want to try to see if I can go back. Yeah, I think
that's part of it too. Is like sometimes it could be a while before you find what you finally found. You could have been looking for 20 minutes for this gnats. You finally find them, you kill them, you take them, and then you die. Like it's
as long as you
it's
can
that
get it
discouraging
back, though,
thing. Yeah, it's that discouraging aspect, right? Like that I'm talking about. Like I'm just wondering if there's maybe a slightly better way. Like maybe I don't know. I think it's fine like dropping some of the items, like maybe some important items.
Right.
But maybe not every piece that I just collected. So I don't mind rebuilding those important things, but I have them. So it was costly, right? But not like so costly. I don't know. I'm just throwing some ideas out there, but yeah, because I just would want people to have fun too.
Yeah.
Right. But all in all, I think we all agree that it was a good game, and that we'll probably be doing some more streaming of that soon.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, so with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, like the podcast, go ahead and hit that like, that subscribe button down below in YouTube. Hit us with that follow on Spotify, Podbean, Google Podcasts, wherever you listening to it at. Hit that follow button for us so we can see, that you guys are enjoying it and that there's actually people listening to us.
Yeah.
If not, we're just talking to a wall. But yeah, so, once again, I'm Godly Sovereign. This is Mark Araya. That's Sir Knight. We are the We Love Gaming podcast. Once again, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
Peace.
Peace.
I love you, me.